This recipe is the best black gold cake roll recipe I've used so far. First of all, the color is perfect. The texture is delicate and soft. It also has a slight moisture. It doesn't shrink or sink when baked. Honestly, I don't know how to praise it enough. In short, it is excellent. Then it's paired with matcha ganache. The cream is from the 130 version of the black gold cake roll. This recipe is fine for sale in stores. Making it at home will definitely be cheaper. The most crucial point is that it's delicious. 46 grams of white chocolate. 8 grams of butter. Melt together in a double boiler. Add 6 grams of matcha powder. Be sure to mix until there are no lumps of matcha powder. Then mix with 250 grams of heavy cream. It needs to be refrigerated. The longer it is refrigerated, the better. I usually like to prepare it the night before. I used 35% white chocolate. Then it is already quite sweet. So this cream doesn't need any added sugar. Of course, its sweetness will decrease after chilling. For those who like sweet things, let's add about 6 grams here. That's enough. The amount of eggs is 4 large ones. I don't recommend making this cake base too thick. Given this quantity, pairing it with this amount of cream is just right. It truly brings out the rich bitterness of the matcha cream. And it melts in your mouth. Paired with this soft cake base, it really shouldn't be too intense. Egg whites, 132 grams. It needs to be frozen for at least 15 minutes. Milk, 50 grams. Corn oil, 40 grams. Mix them together. Sometimes after you mix, you might notice some bubbles on the surface. But that's okay, right? Just make sure that no oil spots are visible. Sift 44 grams of cake flour. Bamboo charcoal powder, 4 grams. There's none. You can use this Sanibel black food coloring as a substitute. 10 grams of deep black cocoa powder. This is essential if you want a difference in texture and flavor. It relies on this cocoa powder to enhance the aroma. Mix roughly. Add 78 grams of egg yolk. You can adjust this amount as you like. The mixed state should flow smoothly when dripped, as long as you ensure the measurements in the recipe are accurate, or in the case of adding less. In terms of this liquid amount, I've tried several brands of cake flour. The final batter consistency will not deviate. In 132 grams of egg whites, add 50 grams of granulated sugar at once. Start whipping. The mixer has speed settings. We will initially whip on high speed until lines form. Then whip on medium speed until the lines on the meringue surface become clear. Then switch to low speed. Neaten the bubbles created in the meringue due to high-speed whipping. For those without speed settings, we will stop several times to check the state of the meringue, to prevent it from being underwhipped. When making a Swiss roll, we usually whip it a bit stiffer. This will increase your chances of success. Take a portion and mix it with the egg yolk batter. Then pour it all back into the meringue. You need to speed up the entire operation here. The longer the operation takes, the greater the chance of deflating. Deflation will cause your Swiss roll to collapse and lead to various issues like a pudding layer. The final mixed batter should be able to hold its shape. You also need to use a spatula to fill in the 4 corners and scrape the surface smooth. You should use the spatula at an angle to scrape. Be gentle with your movements. This Swiss roll needs to be made as a proper roll, so smoothing the surface is a necessary step. Today's oven is the Chandi Cat Small Easy Pro. Top heat at 150 degrees Celsius and bottom heat at 160 degrees Celsius. Bake for 28 minutes. After baking, place it on a cooling rack to cool. You see, the cream is now in a solid state, but it is very soft. Just whip it quickly, especially in summer when the room temperature is high. Sometimes you may need to place it in an ice bath. If you take too long to operate, the cream will get softer and softer. Flip the cake roll upside down slightly. Then make a diagonal cut on the edge. The rest is just to spread the cream. You need to stack it a bit at the 13 places. For the others, spread it a bit more casually. It doesn't have to be that precise. Lift the parchment paper. Press the cake roll down and then roll it over. Rolling it requires a lot of practice. In fact, if you roll about 5, it should be fine. Use a mold to shape the cake roll. It needs to be refrigerated for more than 2 hours. The rest is just to cut it open. Scraps are not needed. This cake roll, when sold, is cut directly in half. The one in the shop also has prints. When we make it at home, we don't make it that complicated. This color is really cool. I wonder if you feel the same way. It doesn't look appetizing. But the moment you break it open, it's truly enticing. This is also why we must create this Swiss roll tutorial. As the reason, it allows you to taste this delicious treat at home. It's also a kind of enjoyment. If you learn it, you can even make money from it. Customer feedback will tell you that the taste is good. Then I think it's really worth everything. Click on my profile to go to my homepage. There are many practical tutorials waiting for you to check in.